Boop. Happy Wednesday. Today is Wednesday, May the 26th, 2021, and today's daily Bible readings come to us from Psalm 104, 24 through 34, and then 35b, Ezekiel 37, 1 through 14, and John 20, 19 through 23. And I'm going to actually look at Ezekiel and John today because we're going to talk about prophesying or breathing new life into dry bones. God gives Ezekiel this order to prophesy to these bones. And if you haven't read Ezekiel, I don't know why you haven't. It's a great book. God shows Ezekiel this vision of this valley full of just bones, and they're not even connected. They're just kind of, it's like a valley, literally, of dry bones, like he says, just scattered all over. And he asks Ezekiel this question. He's like, hey, can these bones live? And he's like, you know that more than I do. And he goes, well, prophesy to these bones and tell them to get in order and tell the flesh to come back on them. And so Ezekiel does what a good prophet should do and does what God tells him to do, says what God tells him to say, even though, like, to everybody else, it sounds crazy. I mean, if I put you in front of a bunch of dry bones and told you to tell them to come back to life, you would probably think I'm an idiot. Anyway, but God told Ezekiel to do that. Ezekiel's a good prophet, so Ezekiel does it, and guess what happens? The bones come back together, they knit together, the sinews come on. It was probably pretty trippy, now that I think about it, watching it. But anyway, all that happens. And then the next thing is, here's the deal. Yeah, they have everything that they need to be living bodies, right? The bones have been put in order, all the bones in their exact right places. They've got sinew and muscle and flesh and all that stuff, but they're still just dead bodies until God says to Ezekiel, prophesy to the breath, to call it in from the four winds and tell it to come back into these bodies and make them living bodies once again. And so Ezekiel does that. Ezekiel calls upon the breath to return to these bodies and restore them to life. And then God makes a promise to Israel. Through this imagery, he's making a promise to the people of Israel. And he says, I'm calling you back from death to life. I'm bringing you up from this grave that you've been in, and I am placing my spirit within you so that you once again will live. And that he says that you shall know that I, the Lord, have spoken and will act. And so it's not just an accident that we've got this imagery in John where Jesus appears in a tomb, but it's not what you think, because Jesus has already been resurrected. He's already out and about and doing his Jesus thing. But he has to go rescue his disciples from the tomb that they put themselves in. They're locked up in this room, and it's locked from the inside. They're afraid to go out. They saw what happened to Jesus, and they're afraid that the same thing will happen to them. And even though Jesus has already saved them from death, he has to go get them out of this tomb that they put themselves in. They're locked up in this dark room. And so he appears in their midst, and he breathes on them. It says, receive the Holy Spirit. So he breathes on them, they breathe in the Holy Spirit, and then he sends them out to be the church that they're supposed to be. There's a lot of things that we don't do, a lot of tombs that we lock ourselves up in, and God has already done the hard work of bringing us from death into life. We probably just need to take a deep breath and get out into the world. Anyway, that's the DBR for today. We'll be back tomorrow. It's a gorgeous day outside. You should go enjoy it while you can. We'll talk to you later. Take a deep breath. Boop.